Captain Minho sat in the smoky cantina on Outer Station 7, nursing his drink while listening to the old trader's story. The alien spoke in hushed tones about a ghost ship that haunted the Forbidden Zone, a place where no sane being dared to venture. According to the tales, this wasn't just any ship, it was human. Impossible, scoffed Lieutenant Nari, who had been eavesdropping from the next table. Humans were considered the weakest species in the galaxy, barely able to leave their home system without advanced alien technology. The idea of a human warship surviving in the deadliest region of space was laughable, but Minho wasn't so sure. He had heard similar stories from 3 different sources this week. Traders, mercenaries, even a drunk Galactic Council official had mentioned sightings of a massive vessel with strange markings. Each time they described the same thing: a ship that moved like nothing they had ever seen, appearing and disappearing like smoke in the cosmic void. The Forbidden Zone earned its name for good reason. Ancient weapons platforms, gravity storms, and spatial anomalies made it a graveyard for anyone foolish enough to enter. Yet something was out there, and if the rumors were true, it was human. Minho made his decision. His cargo ship needed repairs. Anyway, and he had always been curious about human capabilities. Maybe it was time to investigate these whispers himself. As he stood to leave, the old trader grabbed his arm with a trembling appendage. "Don't go looking for ghosts, young captain. Some legends are better left alone." But legends, Minho thought, sometimes turned out to be history waiting to be discovered. 3 days later, Minho's ship, the Star Wanderer, approached the edge of the Forbidden Zone. His crew of 6 aliens from various species had grown increasingly nervous as they traveled. Even his trusted engineer, Hana, kept checking and rechecking the ship's systems. "Captain, our sensors are picking up massive energy readings ahead," reported Soman from the navigation station. "The gravity fields are stronger than anything in our databases." Minho nodded grimly. They were entering uncharted territory now, where the laws of physics seemed to bend and break. Ancient civilizations had fought their final battles here millions of years ago, leaving behind technology that defied understanding. As they pushed deeper into the zone, strange things began happening. Time moved differently in some areas, making conversations echo before they were spoken. Their instruments flickered between readings that made no sense. Hana reported that their engines were somehow running more efficiently than physically possible. Then they saw it. A massive structure loomed ahead, easily 10 times the size of their ship. At first glance, it looked like a derelict space station, but as they drew closer, the truth became clear. This was a warship, and despite being ancient beyond measure, it still radiated power. "Those markings," whispered Jiho, their communications officer. "I've seen them before, in the Galactic archive. Those are human symbols." The ship was unlike anything in current human fleet records. It was massive, angular, and covered in weapons systems that seemed both primitive and incredibly advanced. Most shocking of all, faint lights could be seen moving within its corridors. "Captain," Soman's voice was barely audible. "It's scanning us." The ancient human warship was still alive, and it knew they were there. The communication came through in perfect Galactic standard, though the voice carried an accent none of them recognized. "Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. State your purpose or withdraw immediately." Minho's crew exchanged glances of disbelief. Not only was the ship active, but there were actual humans aboard. Humans who spoke with authority that no one in the galaxy associated with their species. "This is Captain Minho of the merchant vessel Star Wanderer," he responded carefully. "We're explorers seeking to verify rumors of human presence in this region. We mean no harm." A long pause followed before the voice responded. "Captain Minho, you will dock at Base 7. Any sudden movements or weapons activation will result in immediate destruction. Be advised, we have been monitoring your species' treatment of humanity for quite some time." The docking bay that opened to receive them was massive, easily capable of holding dozens of ships their size. As they landed, Minho noticed advanced technology everywhere: force fields, energy conduits, and gravity manipulators that were centuries ahead of current galactic standards. A delegation of 3 humans met them at the airlock. They wore uniforms that looked both military and ceremonial, with ranks and insignia unfamiliar to any current human design. Their leader, a woman who introduced herself as Commander Hiyeri, carried herself with quiet confidence that made even Minho's veteran crew step back respectfully. "Welcome aboard the Eternal Vigil," she said. "We are the Guardians, descendants of the original human fleet that was sent to explore beyond known space. We've been waiting a very long time for contact with the outside galaxy." Behind her, Minho could see other humans moving through corridors that stretched beyond sight. This wasn't just a single ship. It was an entire civilization that had been hiding in the most dangerous region of space, growing stronger, while the rest of the galaxy assumed humanity was weak and helpless. Commander Hiyeri smiled, but it wasn't entirely friendly. "I think it's time we had a conversation about humanity's place in the galaxy, don't you?" Commander Hiyeri led them through corridors filled with wonders that defied everything Minho thought he knew about human technology. Gardens grew in artificial sunlight, children played in parks suspended in zero gravity, and workshops produced materials that shouldn't have been possible with known science. "Your ancestors," Hiyeri explained as they walked, "sent us here 800 years ago to explore the Forbidden Zone and establish humanity's first deep space colony. What they didn't expect was that we would thrive here." She paused beside a massive viewing window that showed the true scope of their hidden civilization. Dozens of ships, from sleek fighters to massive construction vessels, moved between installations built into floating asteroids. This wasn't just survival. This was expansion on a scale that dwarfed most galactic civilizations. "The ancient technology here didn't destroy us like it did others," continued another Guardian, Lieutenant Commander Subin. "We learned to understand it, to merge it with our own innovations. The result is capabilities that your current galaxy has never seen." Hana, Minho's engineer, stared in amazement at energy readings that shouldn't have been possible. "But why hide? With this technology, humans could claim their rightful place among the major powers." Commander Hiyeri's expression darkened. "Because we've been watching. We've seen how the galaxy treats humanity. Humans are considered useful servants, sources of cheap labor, cannon fodder for other species' wars. We've observed the systematic oppression, the casual dismissal of human capabilities, the assumption that your people exist only to serve others." She led them to another viewing port, this one showing weapon systems that made their escort ships look like toys. "We've spent 8 centuries building our strength, waiting for the right moment. The question is, what will we do with that strength when the time comes?" The implications hit Minho like a physical blow. Hidden in the most dangerous region of space, humanity had built a civilization that could potentially challenge the entire galactic order. The weak, scattered humans that the galaxy knew were just one small part of a much larger picture. "How many of you are there?" Minho asked quietly. Commander Hiyeri smiled, and this time it was genuinely warm. "Enough. More than enough." The Guardians did not just want to tell their story to Captain Minho and his crew. They wanted to prove that their story was real. They wanted to demonstrate what 800 years of hidden development had accomplished. Commander Hiyeri proposed a demonstration that would show the galaxy what humanity could really do. 3 days from now, a Dominion patrol will enter this sector. Lieutenant Commander Subin explained while showing tactical displays that tracked ship movements across dozens of star systems. "They are hunting for illegal salvage operations, and they have orders to destroy any vessels they find without asking questions first. The Dominion was one of the most powerful and feared civilizations in the galaxy. They were known for their brutal efficiency and their complete disregard for human life. Captain Minho had encountered Dominion forces before, and he knew that they considered humans to be worthless insects that could be crushed without consequence. He had seen entire human colonies reduced to ash and dust because someone had failed to pay tribute on time. He had watched Dominion soldiers kill human workers for the crime of asking for better working conditions. The Dominion treated humans worse than most species treated their animals. "We are going to introduce ourselves to them." Commander Hiyeri continued with a smile that looked both friendly and dangerous. "One of our ships will make contact with their patrol. You and your crew will witness what happens. When the galaxy meets humanity as we truly are, the demonstration ship was called the Storm's Edge, and Captain Minho had never seen anything like it. The ship looked like a work of art that had been designed by someone who understood both beauty and death-sleek lines, concealed weapons that could crack planets, while its hull incorporated technology that bent light and gravity. The ship's captain was Commander Tae-hyun, a man who had been born in the Forbidden Zone and trained from childhood. In the Guardian way, he moved with the confidence of someone who had never known defeat, and spoke with the authority of someone who commanded the most advanced warship in the galaxy. When the Dominion patrol arrived in the sector, they found exactly what they expected to find: a single human vessel that appeared to be salvaging materials from the ancient battlefields. The patrol consisted of 3 heavily armed warships, commanded by a massive insectoid creature named Vextar. Vextar was a career military officer who had spent decades hunting down and destroying ships that entered Dominion-controlled space without permission. He had personally killed thousands of humans and considered it no different from exterminating harmful insects. He was confident that this encounter would be over quickly. The Dominion patrol opened communications with the usual arrogance and contempt that they showed to all humans. "Human vessel, you are trespassing in controlled space. Surrender for processing, or be destroyed immediately. You have 30 seconds to comply." Commander Tae-hyun's response came through their communication systems, with calm, measured tones that carried no trace of fear or submission. "Dominion patrol, you have entered Guardian territory. You will withdraw immediately, or face the consequences of your actions." The alien patrol erupted in laughter that could be heard across all communication channels. 3 heavily armed Dominion warships against 1 human vessel seemed like barely worth their time. Vextar ordered an immediate attack, confident that this would be over before his weapons finished charging. Captain Minho and his crew watched from a safe distance as the encounter unfolded. Lieutenant Nari had her hands on the weapons controls, even though she knew their ship could not help in a battle between such powerful vessels. Hana monitored their engines in case they needed to run away quickly. The battle, if it could be called a battle, lasted exactly 17 seconds from the moment the Dominion ships opened fire until the moment they hung dead and helpless in space. What happened in those 17 seconds changed everything that Captain Minho thought he knew about space combat. The moment the Dominion ships fired, their weapons, the Storm's Edge, seemed to disappear and reappear in 3 different locations at the same time. It moved in ways that violated every law of physics that Captain Minho had learned. The ship was somehow in multiple places while still being in one place. The Guardian ship's weapons fired beams of energy that passed through the enemy ship's shields like the shields did not exist. The beams surgically disabled engines and weapon systems without harming the crews inside. It was precision that seemed impossible, even with the most advanced technology. When the impossible battle ended, 3 Dominion warships hung motionless in space. Their crews were alive, but their ships were completely helpless. Commander Tae-hyun's voice came over the communication channels with the same calm tone he had used before. "This is your only warning. The age of humanities. Silence is over. What you have just witnessed is the least of our capabilities. Return to your leaders and tell them that the Guardians are watching and waiting." Captain Minho watched in amazement as the Guardian ship effortlessly towed the disabled Dominion vessels to the edge of the system and released them. The message was clear. Humanity was not just defending itself. It was demonstrating power that the galaxy had never imagined possible. The demonstration was over, but Captain Minho knew that the real impact was just beginning. The Dominion survivors would return to their leaders with reports that would shake the foundations of Galactic politics. The age of underestimating humanity was about to end forever. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted exactly 17 seconds. The moment the Dominion ships opened fire, the Storm's Edge seemed to disappear and reappear simultaneously in 3 different locations. Its weapons fired beams of energy that passed through the enemy ship's shields like they didn't exist, surgically disabling their engines and weapon systems without destroying the crews. When the dust settled, 3 Dominion warships hung dead in space, their crews alive but completely helpless. Commander Tae-hyun's voice came over the communication channels with the same calm tone. "This is your only warning. The age of humanity's silence is over. What you have just witnessed is the least of our capabilities. Return to your leaders and tell them that the Guardians are watching." Minho and his crew watched in stunned silence. As the human ship effortlessly towed the disabled Dominion vessels to the edge of the system and released them. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was demonstrating power beyond anything the galaxy had imagined possible. In the days that followed, word spread like wildfire through every trading post, every space station, every government building in known space. The weak, servile humans that the galaxy had dismissed for centuries were not what they seemed. Somewhere, in the darkness between the stars, they had built something that challenged every assumption about galactic power. Some species reacted with fear, others with anger, and a few with grudging respect. The Galactic Council called emergency sessions to discuss the human problem, while military commanders scrambled to reassess threat levels and defense strategies. But in the hidden cities of the Forbidden Zone, Commander Hieri and the Guardians waited patiently. They had revealed themselves not as conquerors but as a reminder that humanity's story was far from over. The galaxy had spent centuries writing humans off as minor players in cosmic affairs. Now, as reports of the mysterious human warship spread from system to system, one thing became clear to everyone. The rumors weren't just legends anymore. They were history in the making, and that history was about to change everything. The weak had become strong. The scattered had become united, and the galaxy would never be the same again. In the depths of space where no one dared to look, humanity had been preparing for this moment for 800 years. The age of underestimation was over. The age of the Guardians had begun.